Greetings, humans, aliens, and everybody from all across the galaxy to the newest episode of the Blue Box Diaries, the podcast where we discuss, dissect, and dive into our thoughts on everything Doctor Who. My Earth name is Steph, and I am joined by my lovely Earthling sister, Susie.
Hello, humanoids.
And John. Say hi, John.
Hi. He's in another galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, so his connection might be just like bloop.
Oh.
On today's episode, we are going to examine the second episode of the season 11 run of the show, featuring Jodie Whittaker as our Doctor. So everybody, grab your sonic screwdriver and let's Alan Z to our blue box.
Got it.
Yeah, right. Let's do it. So, or could do that creepy Matt Smith. Okay.
Please don't.
Which I must. Okay, so this is the second episode. So this is where they go to the Ghost Monument, and it's on stranded on an alien planet infamously called Dissolution. Can the Doctor find her way to the TARDIS as she promised her new friends? Will her newest company be of any help when they're also racing against each other? And what exactly is the Ghost Monument? Okay, with that introduction, let's talk about the story. Susie, take it away.
All right, so the story is really, really cool. So it starts off basically right after the end of what happened in the first episode. So the Doctor and Graham, Ryan, and Yaz are all stuck in the middle of space. And then all of a sudden it goes black, and then they appear to find themselves on a random ship. So Graham and Ryan are trying to figure out where they are, and then it goes to another scene with Yaz and the Doctor, and we find out that they are with some other planetary beings in the middle of a race. It's kind of like Doctor Who running into the Hunger Games.
Yes,
a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I picked up from it as well. It was a very kind of jump in, wasn't it? Like kind of opening. Like you're very like, because at the end of the first episode, you know that everyone gets transported away, and they're like, "Where the hell are we?"
Yeah, exactly. It's so. I love that they did a continuation because that's so unusual for Doctor Who episodes. So it was really nice to continue that story. Like, okay, we left them in the middle of space. They're still there, and then snap, and they're suddenly somewhere else. Basically we find out that it's two pilots in a large intergalactic race. They're trying to get to a planet, as you said, called Desolation.
Mm-hmm.
And we are trying to see where the Doctor and everybody else are going, and then they are on this planet trying to get to what is called the Ghost Monument, which we learn along the way is actually the TARDIS.
Yeah, which is an incredible moment, actually. Like, the plot seems very simplistic, and it does remind me of like old Doctor, like classic Who episodes, where it's like very self-contained. I did like the fact that when they came to this planet, and well, when they first encounter the other contestants, they really much get dragged into it, like again against their will, because they have to figure out what's going on. And this planet that they've ended up on, called Desolation, is very, very hazardous. It's full of so much stuff to kill them, basically.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It has that, as you said, a nice blend of New Who meets Old Who, but with an up-to-date twist with it, which was very cool, and kind of stringing it all together. So basically we found out the Ghost Monument is the TARDIS, so it gives a nice connection for the Doctor and all her crew to go and along this journey with the pilots.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a nice connection to a previous villain that we had from the first episode, which was nice. We find out that the pilots are escaping from the Stenza.
Mm-hmm. Toothman.
Yeah, Tim Shaw.
Tim Shaw. Oh my God. Yes, Tim Shaw is back.
So Tim Shaw is referenced again, which was a nice little nod. and it's all to do with the Stenza warriors trying to decimate planets around the galaxy. So eventually, long story short, the pilots finish the race and they end up tying for it, and then eventually, through a little hyperspace prayer from the Doctor and the Sonic Screwdriver, they find the TARDIS. To just cut a long story short, because you could go into very big details about it.
Yeah, like the story itself is very character driven. It's less about kind of the goal of the plot and more about like how the characters interact, and you get to know the contestants. And let's see if I can pronounce the contestant names right. Epso and Ellen.
Epso, yeah.
Epso and Ellen? Or Lynn?
Ellen's the guy that was the hologram.
Yeah, so it's an Angstrom, isn't it? That's the female racer.
Yeah, Angstrom's the female, Epso's the male.
Yeah.
And Epso, funnily enough, a nice little connection. He was in season 2 of Broadchurch, which is the show that Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker just came from doing. So nice little connection there to that. So yeah, those are the contestants. Ellen is the main guy in charge of this race. Let's seeing the proceedings of everything going on, and he's basically we see him as a hologram at the beginning.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Which is very interesting.
I really there's a lot of little details like when. Like, I do like the fact, right, when it opens up and you find that Yaz kind of makes her way to the control deck of this ship, and the 13th Doctor is arguing with the pilot, which is Epso, is like the main guy, and
yeah,
it was really, really funny. I loved all their interactions. I thought they were really humorous.
Absolutely.
I wanted to also talk about like how those characters, like the backstories and stuff of those characters, but we'll get to that at a wee later point.
Yeah.
So is there anything like, see with the plot and its intricacies and stuff, like what was your favourite part of this?
Oh, it was little scatterings of favourite parts. Everything from the fast-paced dialogue, which was wonderful to go along with the race element of the episode. It was like racing along at a steady pace. To like little one-liners that Jodie was saying, like, welcome to what I presume is your first alien planet, and then just going right back into what she was talking about. To things like Ryan going all Call of Duty on the robot guards.
Mm-hmm.
And even having the intro. The intro just kind of drew me right in, because it was the first use of the new intro.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of crispness to it, and it just felt like it's like the old intros you had the TARDIS going on screen, but this one it felt like it was sucking you in through the TV to go on the adventure with the Doctor. So that was I loved that. To the reuse of the Sonic sunglasses.
Yes,
the goddamn Sonic sunglasses were brought back. That was amazing. And even Jodie saying, "This is my TARDIS," when she opens up the TARDIS and just goes, "This is my TARDIS," like it's her saying it's her time.
Like, this is my favorite scene from this story was where like she approaches the TARDIS once she gets it to like come into like proper being and stops it from phasing in and out of time. And the music is so beautiful in the direction with like how the camera pans and like just the concentration on the Doctor's expression. And I really think Jodie does amazing here, because it's just like the way that it's like she sort of runs up and she's like, "Oh, hello, you, I've missed you. You've done yourself up. Very nice. Lost my key, sorry." And the door just opens, and it's just like this very like beautiful moment. And it's really like, this is one thing I want to say about this episode before we talk about. Actually, no, we should probably talk about the characters first. Let's talk about the characters individually before we move on to the directing side of things, which I am so excited to get started on. So the characters, we don't have a lot of characters in this episode. Again, this is a very kind of big throwback to a lot of what Doctor Who is. They like putting people in a situation and having it just a character building episode. It tends to do its best when it's that's what I would say it's its best. Like when I saw this episode, I kind of thought of do you know one of the David Tennant specials? Was it the Planet of Death, or it was like they ended up in a bus?
The Easter special, yes.
And it just reminded me of that. See, when that happened, even the directing and the colour and everything just resembled this episode. And I was excited to see how Graham and Ryan would interact, because in this episode we have the Doctor, obviously, Graham, Ryan, Yaz, Angstrom. Then we have like another few little characters coming in, such as Alan and the Remnants. So we've got a few kind of players in this. In this episode, I found that the Doctor actually, I still can't. There was a lot of filtering between David Tennant and her. Like, I still can't separate her from David Tennant-esque or Matt Smith-esque mannerisms. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if it's because Jodie Whittaker worked with David in Broadchurch or not. What do you think of the Doctor in this episode?
I love her. Like I said, her fast-pacedness. Fast-pacedness, is that a word or a phrase? I don't know. Just her fast-paced stance and her dialogue and everything about her is like, you can see the remnants of, funnily enough, two different use in this, remnants of previous Doctors. You can see Capaldi in her, you can see Smith in her, you can see Tennant in her, but it's a whole new take on that, with the oldness kind of creeping out and just saying, hi, I'm still here. But yeah, like, she is, well, I love her as the Doctor. I love her as the Doctor. There was no question about that. Like I said on the first episode we did, for some reason I got sucked out of watching this season the first time, but going into it again, I'm really enjoying it now. Like, I'm like, when I'm breaking down everything and taking a closer look at it all, it's so much better than I remember it being. And that's partly down to Jodie and her fantastic portrayal as the Doctor.
Yeah, like, I do think I liked her much more in this episode. A lot of her interactions with like Ryan and everyone was quite sweet, because she was immediately apologetic and kind of remorseful, and that's when I see her Doctor coming out. Because as much as Capaldi, Matt Smith and David Tennant's Doctor were very oh right, okay, I'll sort it, don't worry, I will fix it, it's always this heated kind of thing. With her it was a gentle kind of, I promise I'll get us out of here, I promise you it will be okay. And it was it's that kind of signifies her own Doctor coming out a wee bit. And I noticed it this time round.
Oh yeah.
Which helped. It's like when she was talking to Yaz, she was like, Yaz, I promise I will keep you alive and I will get you back home. I'm really good in a tight spot, at least I have been historically. I'm sure I still am. If we stick together, if you trust me, we can get out of this. Right, let's get a shift on. Like, it's really, like, it's calming, you know? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's just, I really appreciate the effort she's putting in to console them as well, because she says, like, at some point, I can't remember the exact quote, but she was saying to Ryan about the fact that, like, look, you're doing great here, and he's like, am I? And it's like, well, look at you stranded on this alien planet, you're doing well. And it's quite a sweet kind of motherly aspect to her, that, like, I'm glad that maternal kind of side of it. And it's I feel like this wouldn't have been the same kind of feeling if it was a guy doing it. Not that David Tennant or Matt Smith couldn't, because they have really amazing paternal kind of almost protection for their team.
Yeah.
But I like how she doesn't know them that
Absolutely.
well, but it's like a nice soft kind of, it's okay, come on, you're doing great sort of thing. I
Yeah, it's
can't.
kind of like it's an instinct within her. Like you said, it's kind of like the maternal nature kind of coming out of her. Not just because she's a woman, it's just because of that kind of character that she's going for. She just seems to this doctor seems to have like a maternal instinct with her, like protecting and making sure everybody's okay, but still getting the job done and it's not there's not as much cockiness about it.
Yeah, like that's the one thing I really like about her. Like, I do like her whippy one-liners, and I like the fact that she's kind of sarcastic and childish. I know a lot of people go, "This is an alien."
Yeah.
That's like, well, now for Peter Capaldi's episode's probably billions of years old because of Heaven Sent, where he got stuck by the Time Lords. But she returns back to that kind of Patrick Troughton-esque of underestimate me at your own peril, but again, I'm going to have fun along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And there seems to be a little bit of humbleness mixed in with her just saying, I seem to be really smart.
I love it. I love it so much. See, with how did you find Graham and Ryan in this episode? It's like, I want to put them together because they're both suffering the loss of like Ryan's gran.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can see the relationship developing. Like at the moment, they've both lost an important woman in their lives, like Ryan's gran and Graham's wife. So it's hard for them. They're dealing with it in their own ways, but Graham is trying to use it as a way to connect with Ryan, just to say, "Are you going to keep calling me Graham? Are you going to call me Grandad?" And I look forward to when that point turns around because I know it's coming. You can see it a mile off, but it will pay off so well when it does.
It's very sweet, isn't it? Like, I really like Bradley Walsh in this episode. Again, I love every bit with him in it because he personifies, like, he reminds me of Wilfred, but he's so totally different from Wilfred. I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint what makes him different, but he is different. Do you get where I'm struggling?
Oh, absolutely. Like, Bradley Walsh, I've always said, is kind of an underrated actor because you assume just because he like hosts The Chase or things like that, or he's done comedy, that he's not going to be a good dramatic actor, but he's got that sense of comedy and he's got that sense of dramatic timing as well.
Yeah.
So I think he's a really great addition as a companion.
Yeah.
But bouncing off of Ryan and Yaz as well, it works. I didn't think it would, but it really does.
There's a bit in the episode like where it's a really sweet little moment and only lasts like half a second. But it's when Graham goes to wake Ryan up when they're on the boat. And he goes, Ryan, wake up, son. And he's like, I'm awake, way home. And he goes, no, time to get off the boat, come on. And it's just like, I thought it was a really sweet moment because he's looking, no matter the fact he's not called Grandad or whatever, he sees it as his sole purpose to make sure Ryan is okay. And I really get that from Bradley Walsh in this episode. I feel he did really well. He dealt with the challenges in front of him. Ryan, I see this very vulnerable person trying to cope with what's going on. I would have liked more of a throwback, though, to Grace.
Yeah. I think it was just kind of Grace was in the first episode and then, oh, no more. And then we just barely talk about her. But I don't know if that was the point in this one. I think we'll get more sense of it in episodes to come. It may have been the point, like, we're not talking about Grace because it's not comfortable for Ryan to talk about it yet. But Graham was willing to talk about it, so maybe that's where they're going with it. I kind of get that feeling because it's Chris Chibnall's writing and I know what his writing from Broadchurch is like. He kind of tends to do that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the following episodes. I'm very excited.
I really like, right, this is one thing I had trouble with in this episode is Yasmin. I don't feel like she was, but again, that maybe it's not her episode, it's not her time to grow. She mentioned her family off the cuff, but that isn't like character development. you know?
No, it was just an offhand comment about, oh, my dad's a bit annoying and my sister's trying to get me to move out of her bedroom and blah, blah, blah. So it's, I don't know if that will be played on later, but yeah, she was underplayed in this.
Do you think that was a strategic choice?
Probably.
Is there any scene in this that she caught your attention, or because I don't have a, please forgive me, people, but I don't have from this episode, I don't have a memorable moment for her, because nothing really made me go, oh.
Apart from being on the ship when they were talking to Angstrom, like why Angstrom was taking part in the race and Epso in the race and just about her family, there wasn't really anything for Yaz, unfortunately, that stood out. But as I said, I think it's starting to build the arc of Ryan and Graham becoming more like a family. And then Yaz will be inserted afterwards. I don't know.
I kind of wish she wasn't there in this episode because I feel like she wasn't used enough.
Oh my god. That sounds dark. You go stand in the corner, young lady, until you have an arc.
It's just like, instead of having her there and having her as a background character, like, give her a proper chance, and if you're not going to, don't have her there, kind of thing. Yeah. That might be a bit harsh, but it's more so I want the character to be participating properly. I don't want her to go into the back and seem less important.
Yeah.
So it might have been better if it was just a sole piece on Ryan and Graham, but that might happen later in the season. I really, talking about Angstrom, I really liked the moments where you figure out the contestants' stories and backgrounds are tragic. Angstrom is like, she's there to ensure her family's safety because the planet she comes from is being cleansed. So half of her family are in hiding and others are on the run. So she has to like get the money from this challenge to rescue them. And she says if they're alive to rescue.
Yeah, and, like, it's really tragic for her.
What did you think of Epso's background story?
That was dark. Like, his was really dark. Like, Epso, your mom's kind of a bitch. I'm just saying. Like, yes, life lessons are sometimes hard, but damn, son. That was harsh.
Do you want to explain for our viewers who might have not seen the episode, which is, if you haven't, it's fine, like what exactly episode's past is?
So basically Epso is out for himself because of his upbringing, and his mum, what was it? She basically threw him out of a tree or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was oh, whoops, you fell out of a tree. You're not going to do that again, are you? Like, what? No, that's not life lessons. That's you being cruel.
It's actually so cruel.
Yes, because he, of course, kids trust their mothers, and Epso kind of grew to distrust everybody in his life, everybody he interacts with, based on this moment starting things off, I'm assuming. So he's in it for kind of more selfish reasons, but it's kind of more self-preservation because of how he was treated by his mother in the past. And I just hear the story in my head and I kind of blacked out some bits, like, oh my god, it's really harsh.
Like, it's, see, Cigar in this episode, the fact that there was a character moment even for this is why I'm annoyed at Yasmin, right? Because even the side characters had development, and like Epso, you'll probably never meet this character again, and
no.
Like, he has a cigar and he wants to smoke it to celebrate his win, and this is the character that's kind of very macho and very like this is like you toxic masculinity, I'd pop it as, really, because it is, his life has been bad, and he eventually uses this cigar to save himself and other people, like, from the remnants who we're just gonna get onto. And it was a nice wee moment. I liked that. I liked the fact that, like, there was this little character building moment, because I loved the interactions with them, because you really felt for each of these contestants that their journey they were making and why they had to make it.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact that they had to come together at the end, not just for themselves, but for the kind of whole point of the competition. They changed the ending of the race to help each other, which was great. It was a great character moment for Epso as well. Like he was all selfish throughout this, and then right at the end, he was like, "No, I'm going to help you.
So right,
we're going to do it together."
The last major kind of character is very just in the background. I do like the actor who's I think called Art Malik, or sorry for pronouncing that wrong, is Lilin, and is the founder of the Rally of the 12 Galaxies. So it's the race that they're participating in. He apparently completed it and won it as well. I love this actor in this episode because you really hate him. He's so slimy. You're like,
oh yeah, he's a creep.
He's a creeper.
He really is.
He's such a creep. Do you have any kind of? I just loved his scenes. Anything he was in, I enjoyed the actor's performance because he didn't have a lot to say. But
I love the curtness of it. Like he was very curt and straight to the point, and just like, no, this is what's happening. This is what you're gonna do. This is where it is. And bye. Snap fingers out the room.
The worst thing is like, I don't know if they tell you how many contestants die in these things, but it's very Hunger Games because this whole race is just, it's sad because you're sitting there thinking like, how many people are dying, and he's facing these people, but he's conditioned to think it is okay that they will die on this, and the planet they're on is so hospitable that like the chances of getting through it at all are still slim, no matter if it's like the best of the best kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. I think they said it was either 23,000 or 33,000 or something like that started out, and then it was down to 2.
When did they mention that again? Like at what point?
It was like just before they were talking about the ghost monument.
Like
itself, before Ilyn brought it up to Jodie.
It's like
to the doctor. Sorry.
I really liked the fact that like see with the ghost monument, I knew it was going to be the TARDIS. Like, see the second like they're talking about it, I was like, I bet it's that. And I love how it's like stuck on a loop and it can't really like land like properly. It can't be a fixture and it's struggling.
Yeah.
And the doctor saves the TARDIS as the TARDIS kind of opens its door. I had a conversation with someone I used to work with who said, oh, the first of Jodie's moments when Peter Capaldi demonstrated showed the TARDIS didn't want her by chucking Jodie out of the TARDIS. It says it rejected her almost. But I never saw that. I thought like the TARDIS never rejected the Doctor after the regeneration. It was a sense of, I'm blowing up, get the hell out.
Yeah, it was kind of saving her like, just after the regeneration.
Like, and it proves that like when the TARDIS greets her and shows like, hiya pal, how you doing? And opens the door, which I love because she says, I don't have my key. And it's like, nope, come on in.
It just goes, like, oh, it's so sweet.
Like the secret character of Doctor Who is the TARDIS. The TARDIS is like a character on its own, and I love it when they give personality to the TARDIS, like when she doesn't like anything or something, and I like it, for example, in the episode with Matt Smith where they're it was House, and it was like the Doctor's Wife episode.
Yeah.
Where they're on this planet, and this planet's trying to like consume the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Was that the one where the TARDIS was actually a human character?
Yeah.
I love that one.
That's an incredible episode, and I just since that, actually my first point of realising the TARDIS was sentient properly, and this might be far on considering I'm a massive fan, but see when David Tennant clicks and the TARDIS door opens.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like it responds. It's got its own like thing for its own attitude, and I hope they play up on this a wee bit more in future episodes, and I'm glad they're keeping it going. So let's talk about the villains.
The villains.
So we can talk about the robot guys first, or the remnants first. What would you like to dive into?
The robot guards we can go through very quickly because they're not the main villains of this. So I would say the robot guards and then the remnants.
Okay, so I found it pretty cool. I liked their design. I'll pop a picture up for you guys to have a little look-see at. I really liked they were intimidating. I found it like, even though it's your like, even though it's your generic kind of villain sort of thing, I liked how they looked kind of Quarian. John, you'll know this from Mass Effect. They were very kind of, no, it's not Quarian. What's the robot race for in Mass Effect? Geth. Very Geth-like, but with hoods. So emo Geth. I don't know if you've played Mass Effect, Susie, have you?
I've not, but I think I know the ones that you're talking about.
I like the design. I know they were just there as cannon fodder. As much as like they would have to be an obstacle. And they use like laser-based weaponry. And a pulse kind of gun. Like, apparently, like, Tim Shaw has an army of these guys. So, like, it's interesting, their connection to, like, the Stenza. And I'm hoping they explore it more.
Yeah.
Because who built them? Like,
I think they will. Absolutely. You don't just have the Stenza warriors introduced in the first episode and also name drop them in the second one for them not to become a big threat later on.
I do like how the Stenza were brought up as a kind of like as something in the background, and it's kind of goofy fun in the first episode, but in the second episode you're getting the sheer caliber of their destruction, like going on.
Oh yeah, they're definitely becoming more of a threat with each mention of them,
which is interesting. So they started goofy and they're getting more serious. I've never seen that before.
Even with them. Even when they're saying Tim Shaw, it sounds a little more threatening.
Yeah, like, yes, doesn't it? Like, I'm interested to see how exactly they're going to make them real kind of valid threats, because, like, I've seen the whole season and I'm excited to go back through it because I want to see how they build this up, because I don't think I picked up on my first view of it, like, the kind of threat level. So I'm seeing how they're developing it from comedy to serious threat, and I don't know if I've seen that in a episode of Doctor Who. I always saw it as it starts off a serious threat like the Silence and then becomes kind of almost goofy by the end of it.
They never do the reverse, so
that'll be interesting.
That just shows like Chris Chibnall's writing where he's going with it, and it's I have to give him credit, it's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Really? Actually, why so? Tell us.
Yeah, I don't know, I just thought I don't know, honestly. I think just because he was a new writer coming in, even though I know him from Broadchurch. It was change. I don't like change. People don't like change. It's different. It's scary. It's
a cycle.
Yeah.
Remnants. Now this is why, right? Jad here needs to admit he has not seen this episode, but he's listening in today because we want him to listen to our conversation and see if he's excited about it or not.
Yeah.
The Remnants are. I really loved these guys so much, and I hope they bring it back because I found them intimidating. I found the design incredibly awesome. I just thought they were incredibly scary and how dangerous they are. Basically, the Remnants were sentient creatures. Are sentient creatures. They're the result of like bioengineering. And they were made by scientists who were kidnapped and compelled to work on them. And these scientists were kidnapped by the Stenza. It's insane because of the fact that they are sentient now, but they're incredibly dangerous. And they have their own biology, their own history, everything. I like how the fact that they're like animated cloth. I think that's terrifying. The way they can take people out. Oh my god!
It's like episode when he was sleeping, like they were slithering all over him like snakes. It was like, oh god, that's creepy.
Just imagine your blanket doing that to you when you're trying to sleep. Like, no.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Now I can't sleep tonight.
But it's just like, see, with the fact that like they're right. Get this, John. Right, these creatures are dormant during the daytime, and they're like vampires. They come out at night. Yeah. And they like they can slither or fly. It's kind of like Doctor Strange's cloak, or like what's another way to put this? Like they're basically like the best way of combating people is to smother them. That's how they kill people.
Yes.
Wow.
And they have the
It,
ability.
it looks like. Sorry, go ahead.
They have the ability to also like kind of like read people's memories and their kind of basic vicinity, and they're capable of speech, but they sound kind of weird as well.
If there's one thing I can compare them to for this, they remind me of the Dementors from Harry Potter.
Oh yes, that's an excellent one. But if the Dementors were absolutely right, I was scared of Dementors when I was a kid, but as I got older, like not so much. But these guys are the Dementors on steroids.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's because they just had that look of Dementors a little bit, but it was just random pieces of cloth scattered all over the planet that are sentient.
Are
It's far more terrifying.
So it is. It's like going out for your washing and getting taken out by your towel.
is it ever?
Yeah, like.
Yeah,
Sorry,
sure.
go ahead.
Is it ever explained what it's for? Like what the purpose is?
Just as a machine, like as another kind of idea of like the bots, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yes, it's like the Stenza warriors. As Steph said, they kidnap these scientists to create a machine or a weapon to help them combat different planets through the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And the remnants are basically they take over. They don't take over the bodies. They like encapsulate they kill them basically. All the scientists are basically dead. Everybody on this planet is dead because they were killed by the remnants. They were taken over.
Right.
So they capture their minds first and to kind of make the victims more vulnerable, and then they smother them and take over them, and it's gruesome, really.
It is really gruesome. Like, I really love the fact, right? They're used basically to kind of see the participants that are wounded or not doing too good. They're used at night to take out these guys that are coming through it. But their history is even more tragic because this planet they're on, which is covered in sand, it's a vast desert, it used to be full of life. And they took part in obliterating all the life on that planet.
So be nice to your tea towels when you're doing a washing next time.
I hope they come back. Do you think they'll come back?
Yeah.
The tea towels of death.
It would be cool. The tea towels of death. I hope they come back. I just will not look at mine the same way ever again.
Everyone's like, oh no, tea towel. Toweling, no! But,
How could you?
It takes, like, really think of it, right? In horror films, right, this is quite a dark thing to talk about, but see when people are, it's like, instead of having someone smother someone or attack them with a towel or whatever, they've got them actively doing it on their own. And there's something so creepy about the fact they know what they're doing and they're smart, they're intelligent, and they can find you and they can find the best way to bring you down. I hope they come back. Do you think they'll come back?
I hope they do, because they were very creepy, very, very fitting for the world of Doctor Who.
Very, very fitting. So moving on to, right, we've got a few points, so writing, directing and music. We're going to go quickly through writing, and I will say that I really love the dialogue in this. It's much to do with more the acting side of it. I think the actors chosen were fantastic. Everyone did their lines impeccably. I am still not too much of a Yasmin fan. I'm hoping to have that turned around. What about yourself, Susie?
I would say so, like, we covered much of the points previously, like the quick pace of the dialogue worked really well with the element of it being a race in this episode. So the dialogue was racing with the action of the episode. So I loved that. The one-liners I think are hysterical.
That's amazing. Have you got a favorite?
Jodie comes out with. Like I said, my favorite one was Jodie, like right in the middle when they come onto Dissolution. She goes, da, 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 da. welcome to what I presume is your first alien planet, and then just goes right back into it. It's so funny.
It's so fast and funny. Like, I
absolutely.
hope this is the defining trait of this Doctor, is fast and funny. maybe. Do you
Yeah.
think? Do you think
That-
this is a
that's
trait?
that's my favorite kind of comedy there. Just like you have to watch it 2-3 times to catch what they said, or have the subtitles on, just going, what did they say? Like, it was because it's so fast, and I just love that. I love that kind of dialogue. So I hope it continues on. I'm sure it will.
Mhm.
But it was
Um,
really incredible writing.
Right. What one wee thing I want to pick on is when it comes up in the doctor's head about a timeless child. Any theories?
Yes. Obviously that's the remnants going back into how the Doctor came to be, like how all the other Time Lords are either dead or gone or vanished, or because we don't ultimately know what ever happened to them, unless I'm missing something or can't remember. But
Like, it's actually, I'm excited. I hope this is significant later on and gets sprung up later on.
I'm pretty sure it's a foreshadowing moment.
It's good. I hope they build on the Doctor's past, because they did a lot of that with Capaldi's Doctor and Matt's Doctor. They only give you kind of snippets of it, and David and Christopher's. This episode was filmed in South Africa, and it was directed by Mark Tondery. I can't say his name like properly.
I think you got it right, Taderi.
He literally milks in the entire area for everything it's worth. It is beautiful. The deserts are absolutely gorgeous, and it's stunning.
Oh yeah.
The use of light, the use of camera angles to like focus in on people's faces, it was expertly used. You very felt like they were on a very warm and hospitable planet.
Absolutely. Even like the sweeping of the camera along the desert areas, it felt like you were in the flight path of this spaceship crashing into the planet of Desolation. To the moments of it panning down to the Doctor kicking the sand away from her feet when the remnants are trying to take over their minds and their bodies. It was just, cinematography was wonderful.
It was actually just, I really loved the lighting. I really loved the see, my favourite bit is, and it's hate to come back to this, but my favourite bit is literally when Jodie is like focusing in on the TARDIS, and I really love the way the camera pans around, or the music swells, and like you've got like this good close up of her, and you see this kind of childish kind of glee in her eyes about showing the TARDIS off to people, and it's such a lovely shot. Like, the director did wonders, and the location was beautiful, and well done for Doctor Who getting out of Cardiff in those ravines.
Yes, well done.
Well done.
Well done.
Well
Good
done.
show.
Is there? What about the music for you, Susie? How did you?
Music was so bloody good. Like everything from the opening sounding old Who and new Who melded together into this wonderful new up-to-date version of it, to having the sweet moments, the fast-paced moments. Like the music was amazing. It was so good.
The music again is by, I'm gonna butcher his name. It's Sengun Akinola. Sengun, I can't really pronounce it right. I'm not good with names. I apologise profusely. But he has done very well in this episode. After Murray Gold, I like to see his personality come into it, because I really feel he's taking away from the bombastic stuff, but it's still there, and it's really sweet. Like, his episode, like in episode 1, his music was quite like decorative in the background, but in this episode it was
starting to get a personality.
Yeah, like it was beautiful. I will be buying the soundtrack to this season, probably, because I love all the Doctor Who soundtracks. They all have personality, and you can remember what scene they were played in, and it's excellent.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you would like to say about the music?
I was like, I noticed it was starting to come into play, like the moments between Ryan and Graham, like they had their own little theme going on there.
Mm-hmm.
To the the moment where Ryan was running out trying to take out all the robot guards, and then
Yes.
screaming like a little girl, going on Call of Duty, and then going ah, and running off. That was amazing.
Oh, that's another
The
favorite
music
scene.
there, that was so funny.
It's just,
Yeah.
I love that. I think the actor did, like, who plays Ryan did an excellent job. It was this is what
it
a
was-
young man would do. Like,
Yeah, he's
Oh.
like, I played Call of Duty, I know what I'm doing, and then he runs out, starts looking around, starts shooting, like, come at me! They shoot and like, ah! And then runs off.
like I really like see with the. I do feel like overall on this episode, there was a lot of good character moments and a lot of good quirky funny things, but there was always that thing where you could tell they were in danger. I love that because a lot of the time you feel like the characters aren't in danger because no one dies, kind of thing in Doctor Who, but people die all the time in Doctor Who. It's insane.
Oh, yeah, it's
It's
carnage.
Yeah, it is, right? Everyone thinks everyone's safe if they're the main character, but even main characters die.
No.
Like, any overall, right, start with the negatives and we'll work our way into the positives. Overall, negatives
So-
first.
Like we said previously, the negative, I would say that Yasmin, we don't know enough about her yet. She was not used enough in this episode. Although I don't know if that's the point of it, whether she's gonna get a bigger storyline to meld into Ryan and Graham's arc and the Doctor's. So she was kind of underplayed. Ryan and Graham, I love those two. For
Yes.
positives. I love their dynamic. I love that Ryan he's grieving, obviously. They're both grieving. But Graham's trying to use it in a positive way, like, look, your gran is not here, I'm your granddad, so take that. But Ryan's still got that wall up there. The Doctor's figuring out everything that she's capable of. And nice to have the TARDIS back.
Yeah.
Nice to have them reunited.
Like-
It was just overall, it was a really great episode.
Do you feel then that you're being drawn more into Jodie's run now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, my negatives for it were I feel like Yaz could have been left behind or something, because I don't want her to just be a background character because it makes too much to look at or to deal
Yeah.
with, because if she's not getting proper time, like she did again, no, that's unfair because she has a good character, but I feel like as well they could have done more with the threat with the both of the villains in this episode. I do feel as well that it would have been more appreciated if they could have went back into the history of the cleansing of this planet and did more of
Yeah.
a research into what the hell is going on. I feel like it was not like the
Mhm.
Doctor to not go, right, what the hell is going on with all these planets getting destroyed by the Stenza. I feel
Yeah.
like she should have been more angry about it. I wish the Doctor had more extreme reactions rather than kind of, okay, we'll just sort it out kind of thing. Again, though, I don't understand why, because her main goal at that point is to get them home. And other than that, though, the positive sides of it, I really thought they did the best with this episode. I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the third episode and seeing how they build on it. Hopefully, we get to see the Aladdin blankets again.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and one other note. I loved when she was in the TARDIS, she got her own food. You know, like all the Doctors have their own food that is reminiscent of hers. Hers is custard creams!
How nice! It's so good, isn't
She
it?
got custard creams!
Yes.
I love that.
Like, yeah, what do you, right, just honestly, like, I did like that, it's the growth and stuff. I do think she's coming into the Doctor, just as long as the script gives her enough leeway to do what she wants with it. But I think they're being careful and, like, kind of giving her time to settle in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she is definitely coming into her own. and I just hope that Chris gives her like enough leeway to not only do it her way, but do it in a way that's not going to be, oh, I'm the female doctor.
Yeah.
Because we don't want it to slip into that area where it's just, this is blatantly just a woman doctor. We don't want that. We just want it to be Jodie Whittaker is the doctor just now.
Yeah. Like
That's just it.
So, John, from our synopsis and stuff of this episode, are you excited about it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it sounds like a pretty strong start, What was that, episode 2, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that so far it's sounding like a really good intro to her series. I think it'll be interesting to see how she evolves,
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this second entry to our diary. So, everyone, we can put down our sonic screwdrivers and rest assured that we'll be back for the 4th episode. Susie, thank you so much again for joining this chat, and John for sitting and listening to us rattle on for about an hour.
My pleasure.
Okay, so farewell, everyone. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Laters.
Bye.